Two major defense companies are in a battle for the future of Canada's fighter jet fleet.
Locked in a trade fight with Donald Trump, you may have heard that the Carney government is reconsidering its multi-billion-dollar purchase of American F-35 fighter jets. Now, the leading candidate as possible replacement would be the Swedish Gripen.
Critics argue that, the scores obviously favored the F-35 because the Royal Canadian Air Force has always wanted the F-35, so that the tasks or the criteria might have been biased in favor of the F-35.
Canada, we need to talk because something huge just leaked and it's about to ignite one of the biggest defense battles this country has ever seen. A leaked F-35 scoring chart. Yes, leaked. It's now being used to pressure Mark Carney into choosing the US fighter jets. And trust me, this story is not as simple as some people want you to believe. So grab your coffee, grab your popcorn. This one is wild. Before we proceed, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel through Buy Me a Coffee. Link is over there. Thank you so much in advance. So according to this report, an internal DND scoring chart from 2021 suddenly reappears, magically, at the exact same moment Canada is leaning towards Saab's Gripen. 2021. A whole 4 years before Carney stepped into office, before the new defense policy, before Canada's Arctic strategy, before the Asia pivot. And now people are digging up this outdated document and waving it around like gospel to push Canada into buying the F-35 again. Tell me that is not suspicious.
The government seems very open at this point to buying into Saab's Gripen fighter program. This would be in addition to Lockheed Martin's F-35s. But, based on an editorial that you co-wrote this morning, you seem to think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you seem to think this would be a bad idea because of what? Concerns over having a mixed fleet?
Well, the concerns are the definition of a mixed fleet and how do you want to use a second fleet. If you're using too small of a fleet and you're mixing it, then you're reducing the overall capabilities. If you're talking about 88 platforms and now you want to reduce the number of F-35s, add a number of Gripens, and you want to use them all in the same role, which is the defense of Canada. This is a bad idea. This is a reduction in overall capability, and we should not go there. The defense of Canada is not a risk with the F-35, and the F-35 is the best platform to be doing this, especially if we're going to be doing it with the Americans.
In reviewing the Gripen proposal, the industry minister is essentially saying that it does come with greater industrial benefits at this moment in time. And she's talking about thousands of potential jobs for this country, plus an R&D center to be established in Canada. By comparison, how does that stack up with what's on the table with Lockheed Martin and the F-35?
So to answer the question directly, it's just different because the nature of the participation with the F-35 is different. But take a step back and say that not very many years ago, we ran a competition where we evaluated both of these options, the airplanes themselves, their military capability, the cost of the proposals, as well as the economic benefit proposals. So we not very long ago went and did a comparison side by side of these exact same alternatives. So it's a little curious that we're here now having a conversation about the one that we didn't select being better, because at the time what was articulated was that the proposal from Lockheed Martin for the F-35 was the best one all around. In terms of the specifics, the nature of the agreement through which we're buying the F-35 is just different than most other commercial transactions. Canada's been a member of the Joint Strike Fighter Partnership since 1997. Part of the rules of being a partner of that is that every country was basically allotted work share proportional to the number of the anticipated buy of aircraft for the host nation as a share of the overall fleet. So at the time originally, Canada was looking at, I think it was originally back in the day, 80 aircraft. That number then changed to 65. It came back up to 88. But the basic idea is that Canadian companies are going to be eligible to bid and get work proportional to 80 or now 88 aircraft out of the overall fleet, which is anticipated to reach into several thousand aircraft. The work's not guaranteed, but what it means is that the Canadian companies, of which there's several that have won that work, are providing their part, their service, their component into every single airplane that gets made, not just the ones Canada buys, but the ones that get made for every F-35.
So there's a potential job gain for Canada when it comes to industrial policy with the F-35 still.
I'd say there's an existing job benefit that's already been accruing and has been for years, and will keep accruing for years to come if we actually follow through and buy the plane.
Let's be honest, this isn't just about fighter jets. This is big money, big influence, and big political pressure. Because if Canada signs the F-35 deal, guess who wins? The United States again. Billions of dollars flow south, maintenance contracts, supply chain control, long-term dependency. You know the drill. But if Canada chooses Gripen, we get 10,000 Canadian jobs, local manufacturing, homegrown aerospace growth, and a fighter jet that actually fits Canada's needs, especially in the Arctic. So tell me again, why is the 2021 scoring chart suddenly important?
It's important for Canada to have sovereign capability in Canada to do their own upgrades, to build parts of it, to do final assembly and tests. We, as Saab, we are prepared to do that technology transfer to Canada and support that build-up. It makes sense to have a big footprint in Canada together with Canadian industry. So it's absolutely a benefit for us to do that. We are focusing quite heavily to make sure that Canada has all the information they need for the moment. And then it's up to Canada to decide.
Of course, we're very much interested in the offer by Saab over the Gripen and the creation of jobs in Canada and working together regarding Ukraine. But we need to have more details about it because we need to be able to, do the work, the analysis of how much we could benefit out of it. But we'll continue the conversations for sure.
Gripen supporters, and I'm talking military analysts, retired pilots, engineers, are already calling the leaked documents outdated and misleading. They are saying, how can anyone judge 2025 aircraft based on a 2021 evaluation? And honestly, they are right. Gripen E in 2021 was still in development. It wasn't even fully tested in Arctic conditions yet, but today it's outperforming expectations, especially in cold weather operations. Exactly what Canada needs. So is this leak actually information or is it manipulation? Now, here is where things get really interesting. According to multiple insiders, and trust me, this part is blowing up. Carney is facing intense pressure from Washington to stay loyal and buy the F-35. Because America is watching Canada's every move. The Asia pivots, the new European Safe Fund partnership, the Arctic alliances, the trade diversification. And the US does not want Canada drifting too far away. So imagine their reaction when Canada starts considering a jet that isn't American. Suddenly, a mysterious scoring chart from 2021 leaks. What a coincidence. This isn't just about jets. This is about whether Canada is finally making independent, future-focused defense decisions, or whether old pressure is quietly creeping back in. If Canada picks Gripen, we strengthen our own aerospace industry, create thousands of jobs, and build a military tailored to our geography. If Canada picks the F-35, we stay locked into US dependency for the next 40 years. So this leak, these little charts, could decide Canada's entire defense direction.
Canada is challenging that. They've made a decision to buy F-35s. That's now up for review. If Canadians are flying one airplane, we're flying another airplane. It's no longer interchangeable. And so, that might even threaten NORAD without talking about new alliances that promise even more security and safety to our people.
Is it your view that that NORAD is under threat?
Well, if Canada decides to, buy equipment and those types of things that no longer are interoperable with America, it means that that's one of the fundamental agreements of NORAD. And if Canada can do what it wants, and if it decides to move in a different direction, we would have to have some kind of a discussion on NORAD. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying the US leaked this. I'm not saying lobbyists leaked it either. I'm just saying the timing is very interesting, and Canadians deserve transparency, not outdated charts, not secret pressure, not recycled documents from 4 governments ago. If we are buying jets for the next generation, then give us 2025 information, not 2021 spin. So what do you think? Is this leak a genuine concern, or was this dropped to push Canada into buying the F-35? Should Canada choose Gripen, the cold weather beast that brings 10,000 jobs, or should we bow to pressure from the US? Let me know below, because this debate is about to explode across the country. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel through Buy Me a Coffee if you want more deep dives like this. So YouTube thinks you will like this video over here. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Over.